Thank you. I call the member for Wallandilly.
I rise to speak of the destruction of large areas of land and risk to the only chlamydia-free koala habitat in New South Wales. The immediate risk is just north of my electorate in Gilead, just north, I might add, after redistribution after the 2019 election when I decisively won the Appin booth. Gilead is a beautiful area, idyllic, and has been home to koalas that populate the Dharawal lands in my electorate. Unfortunately, these koalas have chosen some trees that are in the way of some profits. At least that's how the developers view them. Lend-Lease Group, listed on the ASX as LLC, has developed land in my electorate and broader Macarthur regions for decades. Some of these developments look nice. Some of them even deliver some things for our new residents moving in. However, the aggressive stance of Lend-Lease that is intent on pushing a home into every inch of my electorate is destroying any hope of preserving these koalas. This aggressive nature and pushing the boundaries is natural for the company that has reported no tax payments for years with massive claims. It isn't right that a multinational company like Lend-Lease that makes profits off our area destroys koala habitats and doesn't even give its fair share. The external tax advisor hired by Lend-Lease, Tony Watson, then sacked in 2022, which was reported in the Australian Financial Review for raising the issue of tax avoidance, speaks volumes. I agree with Senator Rex Patrick, who called on the federal government to look at its contracting, a sum of over $500 million given to Lend-Lease on the basis of the company intent of tax avoidance. For the government members listening, I would expect us to do the same, not only for the matters of tax avoidance, but also the avoidance of our moral and environmental duties. It may be too late, sadly, for areas near Wilton, but it isn't too late for the areas north of Wallandilly and Appin and Gilead. This brings me back to Lend-Lease. The planning development has been criticised for the proposal to relocate koalas. Relocate. I think everybody here would know you cannot relocate koalas. I'm sorry you can't do that to the species that requires large areas to travel through. The consistent independent advice for the requirement of a 450-metre corridor for koalas should be respected, but it doesn't mean by doing what has been done in areas such as south of Wilton, where the developers have declared the corridors only on the lands, funnily enough, owned by private individuals, some who've lived in Wallandilly for generations. Amazing, the koalas just mystically don't want to live on the developer-owned land. It is the right of Lend-Lease to ask for the area to be concreted for their profits, but it's also our right to fight back against this and say enough is enough. The stage 2 of the Gilead development should be ceased, and there needs to be a review of stage 1. It's not just myself and the residents of Wallandilly who have recognised this as a major issue. I'm adding my voice to the New South Wales Government Environment and Heritage Group, who have stated that the Gilead proposal is inconsistent from the office of the New South Wales Chief Scientist and Engineer. The area is recognised as vital for the survival of the koala colony. Further, I recognise and I thank the ethical superannuation for their decision to divest any funds in the Lend-Lease Group and encourage anyone else who is able to do the same and switch the funds to another more environmentally friendly Australian company. I also thank ethical superannuation for sending out advice to their members and the suggestion to contact the Environment Minister about this important issue. I recognise that koalas are coming up a lot in this term of Parliament, and the risk of the koalas in the north due to the logging risks of the swathes of land is actually heartbreaking. This is years after I submitted a petition to this place that was debated for little over the time I've just spoken today. Members on both sides need to recognise the risk of habitat not only coming from obvious destruction of logging or even mining and industrial plants. What is affecting the koala colonies in my area is homes, built on land swallowed up by a developer who appears on taking as much as they can from us. Lend-Lease and other developers like you, enough is enough.